Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back again, y'all. We back again with another playback vid exposing Stephen A. Smith's hypocrisy. I ain't gonna lie. In the sports take world, there's a bunch of hot takes, there's a bunch of cold takes, there's a bunch of you know what I'm saying, accepted takes. Stephen A. Smith next with Shannon Sharp. Those two, they probably at the top of the game right now. I ain't gonna lie when it comes to sports takes. But we're gonna see what's good with this video, man. Exposing Stephen A. Hey man, Stephen A is a dog, bro. I really mess with that dude heavy, and I fuck with his memes tough. But let's go.
Playback, welcome back. We here
Yes
with another
sir,
video.
welcome back.
Interesting topic here. Stephen A. Smith had some choice words for some foreign.
Wait, let me think. I think they're gonna talk about maybe.
Athletes.
Yeah,
This one was
we'll see.
captioned, "This is exactly what needed to be said about Team USA."
But when you talk about bona fide stars in the National Basketball Association, we can pick at least 15 to 20 of them.
He's a scrub. You know what I'm saying? He can't play the basketball. He's playing like he has two left feet. Man, if you know, you know. That shit was funny.
Half of them are on this damn roster. There's no excuse to lose to Nigeria. Some dude, Gabe Namdi, who goes by Gabe Vincent for the Miami Heat, Caleb Agata, Namu, or however the hell you pronounce his name. You give up 60 points on threes? Excuse me. You can do better than that. And oh, by the way, let's also look at Greg Popovich, because he's a five-time champion.
I ain't gonna lie. If y'all been following the Olympics, Team USA down terrible.
One of the elite
Down
coaches
terrible.
this game has ever seen. Hasn't looked the same since Tim Duncan retired. A little bit different now. So let's point to everything. And let's understand, still in all, you have enough to win gold. It should not require that roster spot 1 to 15 is the absolute best that the NBA and USA basketball
LeBron would never.
can send. We have enough great
LeBron
players.
would never.
They just got to care enough and be focused. And we got to know that we got the right coaching.
It's not even a real game. I don't know why this is the take that Stephen A. Smith made on a game that really doesn't matter that much. It's the first game they played while they were together, and also
Nah, cause they lost the second game too.
I think it's this thing that like Americans do, especially in terms of basketball, where they just downplay foreign athletes, as if like some of these players are not also in the NBA. Like the players he just named players who are in the NBA.
In the NBA.
So I don't understand why. I don't understand the purpose of downplaying them. I don't get it.
No,
at
that's
all.
facts. That's
If you
facts.
want to say that Team USA should have won, and here are the reasons why, sure. But I don't understand what's the criticism for the other athletes.
I mean, bro, you gotta really look at it from his perspective, from Stephen A's perspective. Excuse me. He's a sports analyst for the NBA. He constantly goes over NBA analytics, everything, blah 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 blah, statistics, everything, right? So in his eyes, Kevin Durant, Tatum, Bradley Beal, you know what I'm saying, all them boys, you know what I'm saying. Those three alone, and there's more. Kevin Love kind of washed a little bit, but those three alone, he believes like out of all the rosters, they're the best. He believes Kevin Durant's the best player on the planet, first of all, right? So you know what I'm saying. The bias is there. You feel what I'm saying?
When they still made
The
their
bias.
shots.
I think
Facts. Nigeria is playing good. We can't say that. But he's just trying to say that Team USA was not playing as good. And you also got to remember all the past Team USAs. You know what I'm saying? Like the two last ones. I think that's what it was. Two. The last and the last one. You know what I'm saying? The Dream Team and the Redeem Team. The Dream Team was different though. But I'm talking about the Redeem Team. He talking about that. That's you know what I'm saying. That's where his bias is coming from.
Stephen A. got caught in the content trap. Like Stephen A.
Oh, yeah,
needed
he
something to talk about. Team USA lost to Nigeria. It was an interesting story. And on top of that,
Shout out Team Nigeria though, man. They play hard, man. Play hard.
he gets more clicks when he has extreme takes.
Yeah.
And he just needed a way to take this take of Team USA shouldn't be losing to Nigeria, even if it's exhibition.
Yeah.
And I think, what was it, Shannon Sharp's reaction?
Shannon Sharp and then also had a reaction.
Okay, so this is separate.
Yeah, this is still Nigeria that moved to Nigeria.
The Clippers would be winning the finals. Right now. Well, it would be.
No, y'all wouldn't win no
Yes.
finals, Skip.
I-
How y'all gonna win the finals without Kawhi?
Huh?
Without Kawhi, where's Kawhi Leonard? I mean, Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi's out.
I'm dead. You call him Kabai.
He's out
Low
there on a boat with
management.
Lagon.
No. Yeah.
Did you just start saying goodbye, or did you say that earlier in the show?
I tell you what, LeBron
Goodbye.
is. He wasn't in Vegas losing. Was it, Chris? Me, you, Jenny, Skip, and the cameraman could beat Nigeria.
Oh, so that's what
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
We're gonna go there right now. Oh, we have plenty more to talk about when it comes to that one later. And yes, I appreciate that. I actually do feel confident in my playing abilities, Shannon.
I don't want to make too much out of it, Skip, because it was an exhibition. But I think if the U.S., you want to show an aura of an invincibility that you cannot be beat. Now, we know they can be beat because we've seen it happen before.
Yeah, seen it
but
twice.
I'm surprised. But then you look at the roster, Skip, you shouldn't be surprised. This is not a very big team. They're not a defensive-oriented team. They're mainly ISOs, and they don't really have what we call a true point guard. So I guess
And their chemistry is shot, bro.
I shouldn't be. You got out-rebounded and by 12, and you get 20 more, gave up 23s.
Looking at these highlights out
Looking
there.
at these highlights,
Yeah.
USA is getting shitted on.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my god.
Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was just staring at the highlights the whole time that Shannon was talking, bro.
Here's the thing that bothers me, and I've said this numerous times about shows like this, where I stopped watching them because there's actually no analysis of it. It's just like take after take, and whoever has the hottest, biggest take of all time,
It's just stuff
like
that trends.
that's what's going to trend.
Yeah.
And now you get
You know what I'm saying? It's, as earlier you said, it's for the clicks.
competing so much for a hot
For the
take
views.
that instead of actually giving some form of analysis, you just resulted into defaming or trying to.
But there is one guy, I think, whatever show that's called, The Herd or something. I think he's more analysis oriented, to be honest.
Mischaracterize actual athletes, like people who are actually good at the game of basketball. Again, some of which are in the NBA, so it's not like these are some random scrubs who can't make the league. Now we're defaming them. And same thing happened with they also lost to Australia. Patty Mills is on that team. Joe Ingles is on that team. I think it's Tyrese Maxey, if I'm not mistaken. Someone for the Sixers on the team. It's like these are actual players
The bully?
who are actually in the NBA,
Simmons?
who are actually good in the NBA, and like I don't understand what you're saying, but also it's like this sense of arrogance that like US fans have of like, especially basketball, when they know for a fact they're good, where like they just have to stay the face of it, and if anybody even comes close to competing with them, they just defame them. Even to the point when
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that, bro.
foreigners come over and play in the States, they still belittle what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
They don't know how to.
Yeah, because it's like the foreign teams, because basketball, first of all, is a U.S. oriented sport. Like that's the number one team. That's the number one place for basketball, right? So they gotta stop this this belittling of foreign countries. Like, dog, come on, man. Anyone in the world can pick up a basketball and become great, bro. It's just in the USA it has more shine. You know what I'm saying? The same genetics that goes into these U.S. basketball players is somewhere out there in the rest of the world, and there are people who work even harder on their skills to even surpass these NBA players' skills. You know what I'm saying? And there's some NBA players out here right now that they in the NBA, but some of them they not even touching some of these international players, dog. That's all I'm saying.
I remember
Not
them
quick.
doubting Luka when he came over. They're like, he's not gonna be too hot in the NBA.
Yeah.
And look what he did.
So that's just a consistent thing. And again, Stephen A. Smith got caught up in that with the whole baseball.
Hey, Dirk paved the way
Alright, so
though.
Same day, Stephen A. Smith says Stephen A. Smith on Shohei Ohtani. I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter, so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country. And
That's
and that was a
crazy.
quote, but let's give you the
That's
context. This is
crazy.
the full clip.
And I understand that baseball is an international sport itself in terms of participation. But when you talk about an audience gravitating to the tube or to the ballpark to actually watch you, okay, I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country. And that's what I'm trying to say.
What? That's such an objectively bad take.
Yeah.
If you finish watching a game
Bro,
in the
wildin'.
UFC, most of the people don't speak English as their first language. So they have an interpreter in there.
Yeah,
That's
bro was
common.
wildin'.
You know, growing up from
Ain't no way you could defend that. But he had to
it was weird to
apologize.
have an interpreter. You'd go to the mosque and you'd be speaking Arabic and they'd translate it in English for those who didn't know Arabic. Like, it was just such a common thing for you to have interpreters around because not everyone speaks the same language. Now, the reality is, like Giannis did, most people learn the English language to get
While
good
they're
enough
playing.
where they don't need an interpreter. But there's examples of Bruno Caboclo when he came to Toronto. He was Brazilian. He needed an interpreter to communicate with his teammates for the first couple years until he could learn English. You're acting like that's an obstacle that would ever get in the way of the MLB. It's crazy.
First and foremost, the whole premise of the United States is supposed to be the melting pot.
Yes.
where
Oh, that,
you have
exactly. A
people
cultural
from
melting
other
pot.
parts of the country coming here and seeking opportunities.
The American dream.
Sports across the board should be the equalizer, where it doesn't matter about where you're from, who you are, how tall, short you are, your size, your background, ethnicity, or how you speak or what language you speak in. If the talent proves it, then that's just what it needs to be. But third and more importantly,
Man, you gotta shout out Playback, bro. They always spitting. Always.
Stephen A. Smith is someone who pushes for equality amongst black people all the time. To allow a language barrier to claim that that's the reason why he shouldn't be the face of a sport is ridiculous, especially when the sport is growing in his country. To sit here and to claim that, I mean, we're going to be honest with ourselves, Giannis is on the brink of being, if not the best, certainly one of the best players in the NBA. So you telling me that's not a good thing, that someone that dominant is a face of the league
Low. You know Stephen A would never do that, bro.
just because he isn't that fluent in English? Like, what is that? I just don't understand.
Low, you know he's not gonna
Better
do
at the
that.
language over the
Oh,
years.
much better. But then it's such an
Like, even if he
ignorant
didn't
take
want
on
to get better at the language,
it wouldn't matter.
as long as it's not impeding his game, bro, it does not matter.
It
Facts.
literally doesn't matter.
So Stephen A. actually apologized about this take here about this baseball player. He said, "Let me apologize right now. As I'm watching things unfold, let me say that I never intended to offend any community, particularly the Asian community, and especially Shohei Ohtani himself. As an African American, keenly aware of the damage stereotyping has done to many in this country, it should have elevated my sensitivities even more. Based on my words, I failed in that regard, and it's on me." Glad he apologized, and I'm hoping it's a sincere apology. You would just expect someone like Stephen A. who stands
They gotta know, bro.
up for black
Yeah,
people.
they gotta
in
know that
sports
already.
To know what it's like to be a minority in sports. And the fact that he couldn't see that is like, it almost caught people off guard. So I'm glad it clicked for him now at the end of the day when someone says something crazy. The lesson needs to be learned more than anything else. And hopefully Stephen A. learned that lesson.
Yeah.
There is this sense, and coming from someone who's been in America his entire life, there is this sense of, I alluded to earlier, like foreigners cannot be the face of American sports, and I have no idea why that is. And I don't know if it's because Americans have this elitist mentality in terms of certain sports, especially the ones that they dominate in. I don't know if it's that Americans are afraid that foreigners may come over and take over certain things, but it is a thing. And in terms of someone who watches basketball religiously, the amount of foreigners and European players who came over and were legitimate stars in this league, legitimate in the NBA, and they still downplay who they are, is just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, it's embarrassing, and the fact that we are now at a point where we're just talking about the way that someone communicates to reporters or,
Yeah.
or even to some of his,
Yeah, that's a wildin',
some
bro.
of his teammates is ridiculous. It's a barrier that you can overcome because plenty of people
Man, that's
before you
wild,
have had
bro.
to overcome that same barrier. But we're talking about a legitimate.
Imagine how hard it was for like the people in like the 90s, bro, and the 80s. Bro, the 80s and 90s having that barrier must have been very difficult, man. It's still difficult now, but I'm saying like it's even more like even non-sports related, bro. You know, immigrants that's coming in. You know, that language barrier is a big step for them, man. You know, language and history, both of those two is a big step for them because you know you need both of them so you can get your citizenship, so you can really start excelling. You know what I'm saying? Pursuing that dream. Shoot. Oh my gosh, play.
Hard, bro. Have you ever been on the timeline? How often do you hear people praise Giannis? Athletes. Like Devin Booker
Never.
can go crazy in a loss. D Book killing him, most underrated player. LeBron has not said anything about Giannis his entire postseason. Like there's no NBA athletes, no star players who are tweeting about Giannis. And they're trying to figure.
Facts, bro. Only LeBron only talking about like CP3, KD. I don't think KD even talking about anybody. Who else be tweeting like those, bro? John Morant. I know he not saying anything.
Bro,
It's crazy.
They actually asked Chris Paul about it. He's like, I don't know, but he's a star. But when Dame was going off, they tweet about it. When D-Book goes off, they tweet about it. When Tatum had his 60, they tweet about it. But literally, nobody's been tweeting. That's been a question for
I know, right, bro?
Interesting. I don't know that.
Hey, bro, he still got his 2-time MVP, right? I think, right? That's right.
Yo, but thank y'all for watching the video. If you enjoyed.
Hey, bro. Shout out, Playback, bro. WVid. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. What y'all think about this Stephen A situation, man? And the whole sports hot takes, man. Let me know down below. And remember, make sure to follow my Twitter, bro. Link in the description. I hope I can get the link working, though. Alright, with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.